All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Rochelle. My name is Rochelle. I am the High Priestess, or some of you might know me as the High Priestess from my Facebook page. First of all, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hey, Aqua A. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys haven't subscribed, please do that. Also, if you could please like and follow my Facebook page. I know, Stephanie. I just looked at it as I was starting this. That's funny. I'm going to talk about some synastry in the chart today. I'm not going to go too into depth, but I will touch base on some positive and negative influences in synastry. So synastry, if you guys don't know, is the energy between two people's charts and how that plays out. So as you guys, might know or notice, some relationships and interactions with people go more smoothly than with others. Do you ever just notice that with some people you just flow and can't help but just be in sync with them? And then there's others that are more of a challenge. And some relationships can feel forced or just appear poisonous, addictive, and hateful, situation or relationship. It can, swing both ways. And a lot of the time we can see this and map this out through astrology and through synastry. This is just one of many tools that we can take a look into your chemistry and the energy and even possible, predictions and stuff in regards to your relationship and, future events that are in your relationship. Yes, your life right now. All right. Yes. Let me get into this here. So there's some relationships can be a healthy and positive influence in our lives, while others, of course, can be controlling or manipulative and just pure poison. So there are connections that feel karmic, or like you've known them before or have unfinished business together too. So there's all kinds of relationships and lessons that we learn from these different relationships, good and bad. This is where your natal chart and the synastry between your chart and another person's chart comes into play. It can shed a great deal of light and detail on your energy and lessons together, and whether or not this can be, because with some people things will be more challenging, and and some people things just flow. In others is a huge. It can give us a great advantage at the greater view of the big picture of our energy and lessons with that person. And it can also kind of explain, why certain people trigger us in certain ways as well. It can shed light and understanding on that. So the biggest thing to look at with synastry is the moon and the sun sign, of course. But this is your masculine, the sun, and feminine, the moon. So as some of you might know, we all have a feminine and masculine side. Some of the most, and also another 3 major planets. I mean, all the planets come into play when it comes to synastry, but the main ones to focus on and to pay attention to are Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. This will tell you a great deal about your energy with that person, whether you're compatible, because, we all love different. We all need to be nurtured differently. We all nurture differently. And we all love differently and want to be loved differently. So you're nodding your head looking at this. That's funny, Stephanie. Okay, so some of the most intense good and bad relationships and synastry aspects can be very addictive and even obsessive. I'm sure some of you might have noticed that some relationships just are like this, and it's hard to explain sometimes. Well, thankfully we have astrology, because astrology really doesn't lie. You can't make this stuff up. This is often shown In trines, sextiles, and conjunctions, oppositions and squares are the main ones that will tell you what's going, or how the energy is going to be. So yeah, again, this depends on your own personal chart and all those details, but this is a generalization of the main main planets that I tend to look at anyways in regards to synastry. So Pluto also, and Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, all of them come into play and affect each other differently as well. So yes, this can be very, very good, the synastry between people, or this can be, well, very, very bad, depending on the signs and the houses and aspects, like I said. So let's start with, so how we love is Venus and Mars for the most part. Venus is what we are attracted to. For women, this is our feminine side. For men, this is the kind of women that they are attracted to. And this goes for, of course, people who are attracted to the same sex or whatever your preference is. Just, adjust it to what your situation is. And then also Mars for women is how the kind of man that they're attracted to. It's also our sex drive for men and women. For men, this is their masculinity and what makes them feel masculine, as well as sex drive and anger too. So in synastry, some people just hit you, trigger certain points. That is often Mars if it's an angry trigger. What else do we got here? So yes, and then with Venus and Mars, in regards to love, it's important to look at what element that planet or that sign is. So, for example, people with fire Venus, they'll want to need and desire a lot of attention. Venus in Earth, they require more physical touch or more practical shows of love and affection. Air signs, they want more of a mental stimulation and connection. They want to be able to talk or be on the same page in that regards. And yeah, and then what else? Water sign, water Venus and Mars even. They often want there to be a emotional connection. To feel emotionally connected. So yeah, that's just a quick summary of like the elements anyways. But so in synastry, yeah, like there's so much to it, but this is just a quick generalization. So the ascendant in connections in synastry can be energizing. So if you have, say, someone with Mars or Sun conjunct your ascendant, like this will feel very magnetic to you, very energizing. They'll fill you with energy or drive to get things done. If it's a connection to your ascendant, and it can also feel like they're meant to be in your life as well. If you have people with this aspect in your synastry in regards to the ascendant, because the ascendant is how we approach life. It's kind of our path as well. So yeah, if anyone has something in your first house or on your ascendant, then this can be very energizing. And yeah. And then connections to the sun as well can be very energizing as well, or de-energizing, depending. So for example, a lot of Leos, a lot of Scorpios and Leos don't get along. This is because of the square that is happening between their sun. And Leos, they are ruled by the sun, so they're naturally, so like when a Scorpio, for example, comes into a Leo's life, they feel it for sure because their sun, it's like, because Scorpio, not all, but a lot of the time, Scorpio will have this dark cloud around them, and Leos, they are the sun, so like that's automatically, it's going to be a challenge. So yeah, connections in synastry to the sun will be very big, good and bad. So like, say for example, if you have sun trine sun, this is a harmonious connection. This is a very easy. You both kind of give each other, you're on the same page in regards to your consciousness as well. Yeah, and then connections to the moon. This can be very psychic connections in synastry. This can be very, yes, like I said, psychic, intuitive. One or both people can feel this. This can give a familiar, sorry, I have a bug in my house. This can give a familiar feeling of home or comfort, or like you kind of have known them in a past life. The moon can often be, sorry, there's a bug. The moon can often be connections to the past. This person, if they have positive connections to your moon, then they will make you feel emotionally good. And however, if there is squares to your moon, this can be more of a challenge. And squares, like, I don't want to, squares are not horrible. They are challenging, yes, but they are needed in order for us to grow. So, don't be scared if you have squares going on. It just means there's more of a challenge. But the growth is there in the end too. It's just more difficult. All right. So yeah, and yeah. So also there's Mercury. Mercury is a huge one in synastry because Mercury represents how we think and how we communicate. This can sometimes be underlooked in regards to synastry, just because most people focus on the moon, the sun, Venus, and Mars in regards to synastry, but Mercury is huge. If you have, say, example, Mercury square Mars in your synastry with somebody else, and when I say synastry, this isn't just love either. This is like synastry with kids, with family, with friends, whoever. But yeah, Mercury, say, for example, you had Mercury square Mars. This would be somebody that is able to trigger the Mars's person's anger really easily just with their words or how they talk or think. This can kind of rub them the wrong way and be a trigger. If there's a square, and sometimes even oppositions can be that way as well. But oppositions do give us a different viewpoint, which can kind of balance us in a way. But again, it can be challenging and just not, can be familiar, but it can be challenging. It's a different energy, oppositions. But and then Mercury, say if you had conjunction or trine or sextile, that would be more harmonious. You would be able to feel like you can communicate to that person more easily. And a lot of the time, Mercury conjunct Mercury will be, people who just really understand each other or who get each other or who intuitively just know what the other's thinking too. Mercury conjunct Mercury, or just a trine or sextile to Mercury. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of different aspects in regards to synastry. Like, that's only the beginning. Venus, like I said, is what we desire. If you have good aspects to this point in your chart or the charts of others, this can be really good and feel very natural. Can feel like you are receiving the love you need and require. And even if it's like, yeah, I'll get into that in another video. Sorry, I got so much. There's so many details in regards to synastry and astrology, period. So yeah, and squares to Venus, for example, can be a challenge. This can, but this can also be addictive because, it brings excitement. It brings something foreign and new and almost dangerous, it can feel like. They can be two very similar, energies working together, but very different at the same time. And this is what brings that excitement in regards to, squares or oppositions. With Venus. So for Mars, Mars is a big one in synastry because this is our sex drive, and if there's no synastry in that, it can work, but it doesn't always, or it can just make it that much more challenging. It depends really on the person and your values, and not just your values, but your priorities in regards to love and what's important to you. So Mars, in regards to synastry, this can be, if there's connections there, this can be very sexual or addictive as well. I want to emphasize. Mars is, gimme, gimme, gimme. It's, I need that. It's very passionate. So if there's connections to that, then there's, good or bad, this can play out either way. But yeah, so if you, like I said, for example, with Mercury connection or square to Mars, this would, cause someone to have a trigger to someone's anger easily or more easily. Say, for example, if you had a trine or a sextile connection to your Mars or the Mars of another person, this would make it more harmonious, make it more more desirable, more, you can't resist them kind of thing. It's more of a, that natural pull that you can have to somebody. Then there's and also, like I said, like with all of these different planets and positions in synastry, it all depends on the sign, depends on the house that it's in. So it's it's an in-depth science, kind of like a maths science art mixture. So what else do we have here? So yeah, and then there's people who are capable of calming our anger. So Mars, again, I'm still speaking about people that naturally calm us or naturally don't piss us off. It goes both ways. Then there's Jupiter in synastry. This can, if there's positive, actually positive, or it can go either way. With Jupiter, this can be signs of marriage as well, because Jupiter is a committed, it can often signify details in regards to our spouse or how we receive and give luck and abundance as well. So if there's conjunctions, trines, or sextiles, this can be very beneficial, very harmonious. You can feel amazing and on top of the world, like nothing can stop you. Jupiter is optimistic, but it can also be very indulgent. So watch for this if you have major connections to Jupiter in synastry with people. It can also inspire people too. If I find a lot of people who have Moon or Jupiter or Sun or anything connected to another person's Jupiter, a lot of the time these people will make us feel more in touch with our faith a lot of the time too, or just more optimistic, period. But yes, like I also said, it can also make us more overindulgent if we have connections with people or connections to Jupiter with people in regards to synastry. So watch for that and watch for the details in that chart as well. And then Saturn, this can, if there's connections to Saturn in synastry, this can either make us feel very controlled and restricted. It can, or extremely committed. It can go both ways. This can feel like one person is a teacher or a parent figure, or it can just feel like, that person feels obligated to be that person to that other person. What else? Yeah, and this can also be a karmic position for one or both people as well, if there is aspects to Saturn. Definitely huge lessons to be learned between both people if Saturn is involved. Any kind of aspect, really. Square, opposition, trine, sextile. And then Uranus connections are all about the higher mind. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, so it is a lot like Mercury, but kind of on a more otherworldly level. With Uranus connections in synastry, this can be very unpredictable connections, very spontaneous. Uranus is electricity, so it can be hard to control these relationships or connections. Shocking or sudden events or reactions can often occur with this planet in synastry. There can also be a huge sense of learning, or in a way having your mind blown. A lot of aha moments can happen with people with these connections in our charts. And then Neptune, to major points planets in the synastry can be very intuitive connections, much like the moon. Neptune is the higher octave of the moon, so it's very intuitive as well, but kind of on a higher level. This can be a position of illusion as well, so watch for this. illusions or deceptions or lying or, just having rose-colored glasses on as well. So pay attention to that if you have that in Synastry. It can also just be where one or two people are in a fantasy world in regards to their relationship, or there can be some kind of illusion to that connection as well. Also, though, this is often a karmic past life connection too. And then there's Pluto. Pluto in Synastry and relationship astrology, it's can be very intense. Pluto energy can often have a controlling feel to it. Often there is not, or more often than not, there's a sense of power play here going on between one or both parties. So like jealousy, manipulation tactics, mental, emotional, physical abuse, anything that can, try and control the other person. Or if the one person feels out of control because of jealousy or whatever, then they can resort to manipulating for sure. If Pluto is involved. Also, this can be very addictive relationships, relationships that you feel like you just can't get away. These relationships can also be very sexual, and even involving Pluto. Yeah, it's always to be careful with this one. Again, it depends on every, all the different aspects in the chart, like squares, all of it. It really just depends. But Pluto can be positive. It can be very transforming, these relationships. They can definitely have a sense of death and rebirth in regards to ourselves and how we do relationships, if there's aspects being made there. And I'm just going to also touch base on Chiron. Chiron in Synastry can be very, can feel faded. It can trigger wounds. It can also bring a sense of healing as well to us, or inspire us to heal as well. Very karmic relationships if Chiron is involved for sure. Black Moon Lilith as well is another one I'm going to mention in regards to Synastry. It can be very magnetic in a good way, or very magnetic in a bad way. This energy can often scare others if they do not understand it or have conflicting positions difficult conflicting positions to Black Moon Lilith. So this really depends again. So our natal Venus and Mars sign and house and all these planets and natal aspects, they'll all have a huge playing factor on how we love and need to be loved, or what issues we may have regarding love as well, and how this plays out in our relationships. Some people need attention, some people like to be chased, and some people thrive off of communication. And some people just like that stalker, that crazy stalker kind of love. So yeah, that's just my quick spiel about, I'm going to talk more about Black Moon Lilith. That's definitely one of my favorite topics, Aqua A. So I'll definitely watch for videos and content regarding that. I'm just looking at the comments now, guys. Oh yeah, Stephanie, you're Taurus Aries, so that's interesting. Your sister's a Scorpio. You guys will, that'll probably always be a challenge. Consider should get in the way of reality, though. Exactly. And also, like, all of this, it's all about willpower too, and how you play out your personal natal chart and how you use that energy and synastry with others. If you know someone is manipulating or controlling, then obviously be aware of it. And astrology can definitely point in the right direction of how to deal with things and people, and how to go forward. Where is this natal Lilith in Aquarius? I'll definitely, I definitely will talk more on Black Moon Lilith. Mine's in Aquarius too, so you'll definitely hear about that Aqua A. But yeah, guys, that's my quick little blurb on some synastry aspects. I do offer synastry readings, so if you are interested, please hit me up for that. You can message me on the Facebook page, The High Priestess, or you can email me at thehighpriestess21@gmail.com. Please subscribe to my channel. I have a bunch of ideas for videos and content, so stay tuned. I have been kind of letting low this past week or so. That's my Pisces side, so get used to that. You'll see a whole bunch of me, and then I'll disappear for a bit. So don't be alarmed. I'm still here. I'm just brainstorming and whatnot. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you would like a reading, like I said, hit me up. You guys take care. Perfect. Thanks, Stephanie. Definitely give you that private reading. It'll probably be, yeah, I'll talk to you about that. Amber D cycles. Yeah, no kidding. Hey. Synastry. Yeah, and I'm gonna, like, this is just a quick little blurb on some synastry. I'm gonna talk more about, you know, Venus through the signs, Mars through the signs, all that fun stuff, and then the houses. So there's lots and lots of ideas. Yeah, and like I want to tell you guys some ideas and content that I have ready and that I'm just waiting to put out there, but we'll wait. It's really hard for me to contain it, but yeah, whenever, Stephanie, for sure. You bet. All right, guys, thank you so much. Yeah, take care. We'll see you guys soon.